this was better than being over there like 2-3 more years, like, yeah, I think most everybody would be like, yeah, definitely. But Trump, Trump planned on getting out the entire time he was in office. That was one of his major promises, was that he was going to pull out of Afghanistan, and he never could because, yeah, it was just too difficult.
Right, and I'm not saying that it wasn't difficult. I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, just pull everybody out. It's simple military logistics. No, there's a lot of shit that goes into logistics, and shit takes time. But the final execution was, if I had to give it a grade, fucking F minus. Good lord, that was a bad idea. That was a terrible idea. We left billions of dollars worth of equipment over there. We armed our enemies. We left weapons. We left night vision gear. We left everything there. Like, what the hell was that? We couldn't disable them before we left them?
What's, like, more important, is just getting out, or... I think disabling it was part of the plan. Disabling it, like, bombing shit, was part of the plan. I don't remember why they didn't do it, but yeah,
right.
That was definitely, like, part of the plan of what they wanted.
Yeah, but it was a terrible execution. 13 people died because of...
People really just talk. People really just talk. People just talk. They just talk, dude. They just talk.
And not saying direct correlation, but yeah, it's pretty blatantly obvious that those 13
well, how many people died because
because
Trump didn't get out at all?
Good Tom.
Oh,
good.
I know. That's a valid argument.
Okay.
I'm not sitting here vindicating Trump. I'm sure he's made a lot of mistakes too.
I understand, but I'm just saying
he's not vindicating Trump, but he's only attacking Democrats.
That, like, when we look at something and we're doing some sort of, like, cost-benefit analysis, the benefit here is that it's over, that we're done, that, like, any sort of, like, negative outcomes that came from Afghanistan, those are all gone. All of those negative outcomes, they're all gone. And so that is the cost-benefit analysis.
I don't know if they're all gone, because when he left, the Taliban came back tenfold.
Well, again, this is the cost-benefit analysis of being there. That's not, obviously there's other negatives that come. That's what I'm saying, is that this is the cost-benefit analysis of being there. We are no longer there.
Well,
and so that is the benefit.
I think the military execution was bad. Do I know anything about it, about what the plans were? No, but I think it's bad. Because Biden, equipment. We left the equipment there. How dare we? We should have let more people die. That's the true argument that they're saying. Absolutely wild. All the time. I swear. Insane. Make sure you drop a like on the stream. I'm not sure what I'm doing right now. I was bored, so I hopped on here. If I get calls, cool. If I don't get calls, cool. We'll see how it goes, but we're just here memeing right now, to be honest. Okay. What's wrong with people? I swear. People just send wild stuff. Nice. Free America from the Orange Man, true. All the conversations on CNN about Greenland and Iceland are actually so... Not Iceland, Greenland. Greenland and America. They had an actual debate on CNN about this, as if it's a real topic. I mean, for national security. Is the national security in the room with us right now? Is this the debate show right here? There is a debate show that they have on CNN, and I know they talked about it. False claims about January 6th, Greenland politician, analyst.
Renewing his threats to take control of both Greenland and the Panama Canal, and he's refusing to rule out using military force. Listen to...
Where are we live now? You don't gotta worry about it. I'm bored. Okay, I'm bored, and I have nothing to do right now. Until I go DoorDash. Then I have something to do. But if people call in, cool. If they don't, cool.
Trump at a news conference
hanging out.
earlier today.
Can you assure the world that as you try to get control of these areas, you are not going to use military or economic coercion?
No, I can't assure you. You're talking about Panama and Greenland. No, I can't assure you on either of those two. But I can say this. We need them for economic security.
I feel like even in your personal life, you'd understand that you can't just threaten people in general, especially when it's about war. You know, the anti-war president. And you're threatening our allies for no reason. Our allies, we have really good deals with them. Really good deals. Really good partnerships. We already have military operations in Greenland. So talking about national security is stupid. They probably want it for the rich donors. The rich donors that funded Trump want us to go into Greenland.
The Panama Canal was built for our military.
The Panama Canal built for our military. That was not true. So there was a collaborative effort to build the Panama Canal. America, when you talk about casualties for America with the Panama Canal, it was like 10% of the total death toll, and the death was from like diseases and from a lack of food and clean water. The reason less people died later is because of sanitation, but a bunch of different countries participated in building the Panama Canal. It was not just the U.S. The U.S. has no historic claim to it as the sole owner of the Panama Canal.
I'm not going to commit to that now. It might be that you'll have to do something. Look, the Panama Canal is vital to our country.
I want to bring in our chief national security analyst, Jim Sciutto. Jim, what are you hearing from your sources after this dramatic statement from the president-elect?
Listen, there was a tendency in Trump's first administration to dismiss comments like this from Trump as bluster, and many of them turned out to be. This time...
All right, guys. My big defense of Donald Trump is he's too dumb. You can't trust what he says. He's a silly guy. He says whatever he says. He doesn't mean it. If Donald Trump says something good, he's a truth teller, okay? If he says something bad, he's just playing around.
Time around, I think it would be unwise to do that. And when I speak to people close in Trump's circle, and I ask them, is he serious about the Panama Canal? Is he serious about Greenland? And how far is he willing to go? They say he is quite serious.
The fact we're having a conversation about this alone means we as a people lost. The fact that Trump can hide that he has zero policies and zero plans for America with the Gulf of America and branding is terrible. He's a great brander. He's good at building narratives, but he is a con man. He is a con man. 100%. That's what he is. By definition, that was his entire job. The only way he made money in life was being a con man, was being an actor.
And that he frames it, and you hear it from his advisors as well, they frame this as a national security issue. In Panama, they allege Chinese control there. In Greenland, they talk about...
Which is not true at all. Just not true. In Greenland, they talk about boats. Trump said, there's little boats, there's ships, and not the good kind of boats. Complete lies. We already have really strong intelligence equipment in Greenland.
About the importance of it to the Arctic and elsewhere. They describe it in national security.
If you hear them talk about a trade route in the Arctic, we already have access to the trade route in the Arctic, okay? Up above Canada and by Greenland. We have access to the ocean there. But the issue is, there is ice, and ships cannot survive the trip because they can't load, they can't offload, they can't get maintenance on that trip. And also, like I said, it's too dangerous to travel. We don't have the ships that can make that, feasible financially or just materially. It's not a feasible trade route right now. And it probably will not be for a long time. You know, climate change might make it that, but saying that we're going to be using it for economic advantage is stupid. And again, we should not be talking about this. We should be talking about policies to help the American worker, because that's what they voted Trump for, right?
Security terms necessitating hard action, which might begin with economic pressure, to say to Panama and Denmark, a treaty ally of the United States as a fellow member of NATO.
Greenland is part of Denmark.
Trump doesn't care about NATO, okay? NATO is our best military treaty of all time. In human history, probably. Most successful military alliance around the world. And Trump does not care about it. All right, Trump does not care about it at all. He'll probably weaken NATO or leave NATO and let Russia and China do whatever they want because Trump is the pro-China and pro-Russia president. And Elon Musk is funded by Saudi Arabia, Russia, and China. So it all makes sense. You conspiracy theorists out there, you can make up all these grand stories about all this stuff, but we have it right here for you, okay? Elon Musk, all these relationships brain chips, satellite. Every Tesla records you without your consent. Facial recognition technology. We have all the conspiracies right in front of you. Why don't you bite? Why don't you know, like, why don't you talk about this, guys? Why don't you care about this conspiracy? Is it because these powerful people are on your side?
Greenland it's a territory of Denmark with its own elected leaders.
And Denmark is a NATO ally.
It's a NATO ally, fought alongside the U.S. in Afghanistan on hard frontline duty and lost many dozens of soldiers there. But that it may begin with economic pressure, Trump saying, if you don't give me what I want, I will impose serious backbreaking sanctions on you, Panama, or on you, Denmark. And if that doesn't work, you heard the president-elect there say himself that he might very well order military action. When I ask folks inside Trump's world whether that is serious, they say, not right now.
By the way, with NATO members, under Joe Biden's presidency in general, our global alliances and also NATO in general grew stronger than ever before. I think 24 out of the 32 NATO countries now meet their spending goals. So saying the U.S. does their job, no. The U.S. doesn't do these countries' jobs. It benefits all these countries to be in NATO. It benefits every country in NATO, and also the U.S. gets to make a lot of decisions because they're the biggest funder of NATO. So yeah, we have bigger buy-in, but we have a bigger leadership position in NATO, and that's why we have bases all across the world. That's why there's American bases in all these NATO countries, and why we benefit so greatly from it. And if you care about our troops, if you care about stability, if you care about our troops, you should like NATO. If you don't like NATO, you don't care about our troops. You just don't. You don't, because that'll create more instability and more conflict globally. And our kids are going to have to go fight that war.
But they're not taking it off the table. So I think it's important not to dismiss this, to take it quite seriously. And the other point I'll make, Wolf, is this, that when I ask folks in that world what his vision is, they describe it as a kind of Trump-Monroe doctrine. We got to go back to our high school history here, but the Monroe doctrine was in effect that the U.S. rules in the Western Hemisphere, and that's where the Panama Canal is, that's where Greenland is, that's where Canada is, and that he's going to push, flex his muscle here, and that he's not going to tolerate any interference or any limitations on that. And to your point, this would involve pressuring treaty allies of the United States.
The Monroe Doctrine being something in the 1800s, okay? So when we talk about trying to take land from countries, trying to steal land, that always results in massive violence, massive casualty, economically and also militarily. Anyone talking like this is being completely manipulated and propagandized by Trump and by his nationalist buddies. We don't want more disputes over land. We live right now in the easiest year to live as a human being. There are still problems, but when it comes to violence and conflict, we are at all-time high lows on crime, on international conflict. Even though you see stories in the news and it's bad, there's bad things happening, we are at all-time lows in terms of violence, all-time highs in safety, all-time highs in people who are not in poverty, lowest poverty levels we've seen in human history, essentially, in the past 10 years. And we want to trade that away for going back in time to the 1800s and the Gilded Age and the Monroe Doctrine, because Americans are being manipulated by these rich, robber baron, oligarchical, the people that own you, essentially. We don't need to use big words, but the people that own you are convincing you to give up everything we established, because what we established is freedom away from corporate control, freedom away from big government control. And by big government, all that matters is authoritarianism. A government for the people and by the people is what this country was founded on. We were founded on no kings. We need a strong government to make sure that we don't get authoritarian rulers. That's why we have a constitution. That's why strong government is a big deal. That's why it was a big deal to those who wrote our constitution, our founding fathers in general. Big government was a good thing. It is a good thing. Any bad part of government that you don't like is probably corrupt because of private interests. But all these guys, Trump and his friends, are trying to convince you to give everything up. All the progress we made, they want you to go back to the Gilded Age policies of tariffs, and they want to throw us back in the coal mines so they can produce more wealth for themselves and not give it to us, not give it to the working class. They want to steal from American workers and also from workers from around the world, because Trump is very pro-immigration if he's the one benefiting from exploitation, right?
Either economically or militarily to give the U.S. what it wants. That's an enormous break with decades of bipartisan tradition.
Enormous indeed. All right, Jim Sciutto, thank you very much.
Who cares about bipartisan tradition? We need people to be talking about this in more aggressive terms. People don't care about history lessons right now. And if you're going to give a history lesson, add some fire to it. You know, our institutions and bipartisanship is not going to sell the message people need to get. By the way, drop a like on the stream, drop a comment, subscribe. If you want to call in, the number's right there. I just got a caller. If you're watching this back on YouTube, if I post this later, then please do the same things as well. But yeah, thank you for joining me today. I just got my first caller on the line. Hopefully they are a real person and not a 12-year-old. I just refreshed it, so feel free to call back. I can take your call. I can take your call if you call back. I had the call lines closed, but I did see that you called. All right.
I want to bring in Trump's former defense secretary, Mark Esper. Mark, thanks.
Trump's former defense attorney.
Thanks very much for joining us. You previously told me you thought Trump's rhetoric about Greenland was a negotiating tactic. But hearing him now, do you take this more seriously than when he floated this idea originally back in 2018?
Well, I do think we should take his.
Well, now, dear leader Trump is right about everything. Even if we disagree, he's right about everything. We need to bow down to Trump no matter what now, right, guys? He's leader Trump. He's right about everything. He's never wrong.
Words seriously, the words of all leaders seriously. He's just continues to add more detail to it and flex his muscle, as Jim just said.
Flex his muscle and add more detail. Is that what we call being a dumbass now? Is that the new terminology for being a dumbass? Is, oh, he's flexing his muscles, guys, because he's
and more. What's surprising of all the issues that the new administration is going to face in the next 2 weeks when they come in, that these would be out there being discussed.
What about egg prices, brother? Why did Donald Trump not talk about this during the campaign? Donald Trump played cosplay in front of a bunch of groceries. He's like, grocery is a beautiful word. I just heard it for the first time. Groceries, apparently groceries are it means a place where you get all the food from. I never heard of this term before. He's standing in front of groceries, cosplaying, working class, dressing up in McDonald's and garbage truck uniforms or whatever. And meanwhile, he never mentioned this during the campaign, and he gets elected as president. He says, by the way, guys, I have no plans for inflation at all or the economy. But we do have plans to rename the Gulf of Mexico, guys. Look at the branding. Look at the shiny colors. He's like, hey, guys, follow my laser pointer. All you Trump voters, follow his laser pointer. Misdirect you away from what's really happening. When he steals away your tax dollars to fund it, to give that funding to billionaires, just remember, you're being led around by a little laser pointer. And I think you are better than that, okay? I know you're smarter than that. Donald Trump thinks you're dumb. Donald Trump thinks you're dumb. You're not dumb. You're not going to be manipulated. You're not going to listen to this. I promise. You're not dumb. He thinks you are. He thinks you're going to buy into this bullshit, but you're not.
Discussed for the last couple of weeks, let alone on the list.
And even if you don't right now, okay, hit subscribe, drop a like. As this presidency unfolds, we're going to talk about the Constitution, protecting our rights as Americans. We're going to talk about all of this, okay? So make sure you follow. Okay, I'm sorry. You can try one more time. I had it closed again. If you want to call the number on the screen, I can take your call. Please drop a like and subscribe. Thank you. The phone lines are open again, whatever that means. It sounds much more professional than it is, but Google Voice is free, so. This dude cries after climax. I do cry after the climax of a movie. You're right. The climax of a movie is the most emotionally charged part. Why would I not cry after it? Thank you for that comment.
At all. I mean, you're looking at a hot war in Europe.
Call from Crystal Clear Pool.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello, what's up?
Hey, I'd like, you guys doing takeout?
Yeah, what do you like? What do you want to order?
I'd like a Trump 2028, please.
Sir, are you okay? Is that a code for something? Are you in danger? Do we need to call law enforcement?
I mean, in about 17 days, yes.
In 17 days, you're going to be in danger? Okay.
Hey, you really don't like Trump, though?
Yeah, I think he has really bad policies. Do you actually want to, like, have a legit conversation? I appreciate the jokes, but do you want to have a conversation about it?
Yeah, sure. Why? Like, what policies exactly?
I don't like that he wants to cut taxes for the ultra wealthy again. I think his tax cuts already, 83% of the benefits went to the top 1%. If he wanted to cut taxes again for the lower and middle class, that'd be fine. I think I would be in favor of that. But he wants to cut taxes for mostly the wealthy, and that's bad for inflation.
Where's
It's
the
bad
evidence?
for everything.
Where do you see the evidence that it'll just help or benefit the wealthy?
Well, it's just the numbers. So in terms of, where most of the money goes. So our national debt, he wants to deficit spend to give tax cuts to the billionaire class. And just out of that total dollar amount for those tax cuts, 83% went to the wealthy in 2016 or 2017 is when it passed. And the same is with the new tax cuts he wants to do.
Okay, so you don't believe in the whole trickle down theory then?
No, trickle down economics has never been proven to result in like higher wages or more jobs or anything. It just usually results in more stock buybacks.
All right, what's another policy you disagree with?
Another policy is his healthcare policy. Getting rid of the ACA would be really bad. Healthcare prices are really high in America right now, but they'd be even higher if the ACA never passed, because the ACA actually limited the cost of healthcare and the growing prices over the past 8 years. So it'd be a lot worse now, or not 8 years, like what, 10 or 12, whatever, 12 years maybe? I forget when it passed. But yeah, it limited prices. So getting rid of that with no plan, the fact he has no healthcare plan was always bad to me. I don't know why. He could be running for president or be president for like 10 years and have no healthcare plan. That's a little bit weird.
I don't. But you're like bringing up like backseat issues. Like a lot of those policies are not really at the forefront of his campaign.
Healthcare and his main tax plan. The tax plan was his main policy that he actually proposed, but you don't care about healthcare.
Yeah, not really. I care about like secure borders. I think inflation's too high. I would like inflation to be under control, like gas prices to be lower, simple things.
Okay, so the tax policy is the one economic plan he actually spoke about that would affect inflation. And if he does increase, or if you decrease taxes, that's inflationary because everyone has more money and the ultra wealthy have more money. So that means the current supply of goods is not going to change, but people are going to have more money. So inflation is going to increase from that. And also tariffs are inflationary by nature. So tariffs and tax cuts and also mass deportations would be inflationary. They would all be inflationary. The only policies we know that Trump wants to do.
So everything that he wants to do is inflationary.
Yes,
Not like
legitimately.
Not just printing money and sending it to Ukraine or anything, right?
Well, he wants to print trillions of dollars to send to our ultra wealthy. Ukraine only got like $20 million or $20 billion from us in loans.
What did you say he wants to print trillions of dollars for? What?
To the ultra wealthy in tax cuts. He wants to go trillions more into national debt to give the wealthy tax cuts. His 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, it's in the law he passed. He brags about it. We went into deficit spending because of that, more deficit spending. And also, this current budget, he wanted to increase the debt ceiling by $5 trillion.
I could agree that his spending was terrible in his first term of office.
Yeah, so he just printed money to give to the wealthy, right?
Yeah, I don't agree with that necessarily, but I do agree with
Well, he did. It's government spending.
Yeah, well, it's the same with the Democrats. Terrible spending as well.
Well, no. Where did Democrats' money go?
At least the Republicans are aware that there's a spending issue. That's why they.
Then why do they keep spending more? Democrats funded an infrastructure plan.
Not in office yet.
I like rebuilding American roads and bridges, though. Rebuilding American roads and bridges is probably the best way to spend our tax dollars, I feel.
Oh, with the infrastructure bill, huh?
Yeah, and the Chips and Science Act as well. It's going really well.
A lot of that went to roads and bridges for sure. How many
it literally is. You can look at the conservative states that apply for grants. Even Oklahoma has a huge grant coming from that bill that's going to help rebuild their highways.
How many pages is that bill? How many other?
Who cares how many pages it is? We can look at the outcomes of the bill. We can look at the grants giving out to states right now to build more highways and roads and bridges, and airports to improve airports and also water
I just don't agree that's
conditions
happening.
as well.
I mean, you could call it.
I'm just saying, Democrats go into deficit spending and they do infrastructure plans to help Americans get jobs and also to repair America. And Donald Trump did tax cuts to do deficit spending and debt spending. I'd rather do. Yeah, but if we're going to go into national debt, I'd rather give it to American workers and American roads and bridges and American infrastructure.
Okay, they don't need help getting jobs. They can get their own jobs. They need less regulations in order to create their own jobs. They need less regulation, less of a boot of the government on their neck, so they could get things done. I think that's a big issue. And why
for building highways? For building infrastructure, it's pretty clear cut how that benefit America, though.
I'm just talking generally, just the regulations. Generally, America's too overregulated. That's not going to improve the economy.
In what industry do you think America's overregulated? Would you say?
I'd say most industries. On a general basis, I don't have a laptop in front of me right now, but
I mean, sure, but we probably should have an idea. Just like find one to look into. You know what I mean?
all right, give me one.
Like our GDP right now is at all-time highs. Our stock market is at all-time highs. Our economy's producing fine, but it seems like it's only benefiting the top 1%, it seems.
Yeah, I just don't agree with that. I don't think it's performing at an all-time high.
Just objectively by the numbers of the stock market and by our domestic
I
production.
understand the stock market is high, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a healthy economy.
Okay. So when we talk about cutting regulation, I mean, you know that only benefits the really rich, right? Because they're able to buy anything then. If we don't have government regulation to make sure that we have a environment that works, or to have an economy that's fair for small businesses.
Why do you think that it'll just benefit rich people, not small business owners or anything like that?
Because the rich people have all the money and capital, so they can buy up all the small businesses and make monopolies, which is what's happening right now. That's why like SpaceX and Tesla and Neuralink and Starlink and all that's owned by Elon Musk. That's why Jeff Bezos is a defense contractor now, and Musk is. That's why Zuckerberg owns every 15 social media sites and a bunch of different ventures into AI and everything. So we have big corporations making monopolies, and I'm pretty anti-monopoly.
I'm anti-monopoly too, but I don't believe that these companies are monopolies. I think they're on the forefront of the whatever business that they have. They're the best at it right now. I can see, like, during the pandemic, a lot of them got a lot more power, and they hurt a lot of the small business people because they couldn't afford to stay open. But I don't necessarily see how regulations and all that would fix anything.
But also, do you support like limiting money in politics?
Yeah, I think spending $1 billion on a campaign is pretty crazy.
Do you think it's bad? Well, Trump spent more money when it comes to super PACs, if you take total money into account, than Kamala did. But just in general, like one person having enough money to manipulate campaigns. Well, that's cool, but like, do you think it's bad for Elon Musk? Like Donald Trump during the campaign said that Elon Musk gave me so much money, I need to give him favors now. Do you think it's bad that Trump said that Elon Musk gave him money, so he needs to give him favors?
I listen to a lot of things. I've never heard him say that.
He said it publicly multiple times. No, he said it publicly. Yeah, he said it at multiple rallies. He said we need to change our tune on this policy.
He wasn't joking. He wasn't just like, how you guys like to twist his words if he's being sarcastic or anything.
No, he said it multiple times, and now Elon Musk has his own fake government agency already, and Elon Musk already influenced American policy to let him invest more in Chinese companies.
I'm all for Doge.
Yeah, I know you are, because you don't know any of the actual issues, so you're probably going to like it, because they lie to you.
I think America has a spending problem.
Yeah, name where the spending problem is.
All right. Well,
I'm sorry, I'm just saying you're being lied to. You're being lied to by really rich people. They're lying to you on their own behalf. These are all the rich people, the richest people in the world lying to you for their benefit.
I know a lot of our money goes to Medicare. A lot of it goes to Social Security.
So we need to cut Medicare and Social Security and give that money to tax breaks for the ultra wealthy.
No.
Why does Doge want to increase the national debt by $5 trillion already? For tax cuts for the wealthy. In the budget resolution that passed a week ago, one of the biggest things Trump wanted, which is why the budget got delayed, is he wanted to raise the debt ceiling by $5 trillion.
I'm honestly curious of that. So if you could show me
you can look up the negotiations of the budget. You can look at what Trump said, what Elon Musk said. So why would the Department of Government Efficiency want to increase the national debt while cutting Social Security and Medicare, which go and help poor economies, by the way, help rural economies. Rural economies are built off of government programs that do help those areas because corporations don't care about rural folk. And also, they want to cut those two programs.
The government doesn't either, dude.
The government is the reason West Virginia has a state.
Okay.
Because we give most of our benefits to rich. The government gives most of our. Okay, the government gives most of our benefits as a country to red states that are poor.
Right, can you at least admit that they're not as efficient as private businesses?
That's not true at all. And solving poverty, I mean, what does efficient mean to you? What does efficient mean? Because efficient can mean putting everyone in a coal mine and paying them $2 an hour, because that's efficient for the company.
No, I'm talking having a budget, because when you're spending other people's money, it's a lot easier to
We're spending the ultra richest money because how do they get money?
How do the rich get money from having their businesses?
So like a McDonald's worker makes $10 an hour. They probably sell like $200 worth of food an hour, but all the profits go to the ultra wealthy owner of that business. So they
Yes,
make money from
because
American labor.
Yeah, because the
I support
wealthy
American
owner
workers.
had to spend money to open up that business. He had to
Yeah, but they
it
make money
expensive.
off of American workers. They have financial
Yeah, but
currency,
that's what
sure.
happens. If you invest in something, yes, you should make some money off of it.
Yeah, so they are governments. Private companies and rich donors are governments within themselves. They're entities bigger than most governments. Like Elon Musk has a higher GDP than a lot of countries.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, but you honestly don't think like it's a good thing what he's done. You don't trust him, like with making X a free speech platform.
No, he's been banning Trump supporters that disagree with him on immigration already. He's been banning Trump supporters. He's been
Honestly,
suppressing left voices as well on X.
I've seen some talk of that. I haven't seen much evidence of it yet, but
you could look at who got banned on X. You could look at Laura Loomer, Nick
yeah,
Fuentes.
I know. It's just I don't. It's not like on the forefront of my day, but
Yeah,
I
well,
could
anything
see that
negative
being-
about these people is not in the forefront of your day, but you just follow anything they tell
Well,
you.
no,
You're
I mean
guiding
it's
around with a laser
just like
pointer.
not on my list of important things to look into.
Yeah, but you hate Social Security, Medicare, and immigration probably, and you follow
I
them.
fucking-
You follow their laser
Yeah,
pointer. They are controlling you.
Yeah.
They are manipulating your thoughts to be anti-American worker.
Yeah, that's to be anti-American worker.
Yep, definitely, because you don't like the regulations we have in place. A lot of them are just workplace regulations, so they can't work people to the ground for 60 hours a week at $5 an hour. A lot of our regulations are actually pretty good things. Private companies ruining our government.
I'd say labor. I'd say
is probably
labor
the issue.
labor regulations. I'd say yeah. But listen, there's all sorts of regulations, but when you have millions of regulations, you're slowing things down rather than improving it at this point.
Do you think the government is inherently bad?
Yeah, I do not trust the government.
Okay, so why did the founding fathers of America need to start a government for the people and by the people to make sure we don't have a king? Why did they start a government with the Constitution?
Well, it needs to be accounted for by other branches. That's the whole point of government.
I agree.
Do I think those governments?
Yeah.
Do I think it's impossible for the governments to be corrupted? No. Do I believe they're somewhat corrupted currently? Yeah.
Can the government be a good thing?
Small localized government can be a good thing. I'm a libertarian generally.
Okay, so like during the Great Depression and during the Gilded Age, was the government good to break up the huge banks like Teddy Roosevelt did with trust busting to make sure the free market can operate properly?
Say it one more time.
So was Teddy Roosevelt good to do trust busting during the Gilded Age or after the Gilded Age? I'm coming out of it. And were we good to do the New Deal after the Great Depression when corporate America basically ruined our country?
I could agree with that. I don't know much about that, but just based on what you're saying, I could see that being.
I mean, I would just say government is not good or bad. Government is just a method of power, and it does control the monopoly of violence of the state. And it's really important that people participate in it because we want that government to be on behalf of the people and not on behalf of private companies, which is why I don't like that Elon Musk is so involved with being like a shadow president. Because we want those two things separate.
But do you really think that Democrats are like for the people? Anything that they say is actually. You believe,
well, every politician's a tool.
You can't believe anything that Elon Musk says. I don't understand how you could believe anything in Democrats. Because
I don't believe what they say. I look at the outcomes of their policy, and I know it's more pro-American worker based off of the infrastructure plan, based off of their National Labor Board appointees on behalf of their FTC chair.
Yeah,
I can look at their actual outcomes.
It's for them to seem like they care, but
it's good to look at
really
people's production. I don't care about caring. See, you are viewing politics in a really emotional lens. I'm talking about cold, hard facts.
I'm actually not.
Yeah, you are, because you don't know that Democrats are more pro-worker because you think they don't care as much. But I'm saying you can look at the outcomes of their policy and who benefits more.
I don't care if they are or not. I don't care if they're more pro-worker.
Well, I do. I think that the private corporations teaming up with the government is authoritarianism.
You're doing it in an emotional
I'm
way.
a libertarian. I care about ultimate freedom. I look at
You're
policy outcomes. I could talk about policy outcomes and how that contributes to American freedom. You cannot name a policy. I'm not being emotional at all.
Did you say that you're a libertarian?
Yeah, I want to maximize freedom, positive and negative freedoms. Positive freedom can be provided by a government. Negative freedom can be freedom from a government, but I also think you can get negative freedom away from private corporations that have too much money and power.
Have you ever heard of the Mises Institute?
Well, what about it?
Do you support their views on libertarianism?
Probably not.
I just
mean libertarian.
You're a lefty libertarian. You're not.
Yeah, I mean I'm pro freedom in general. So freedom can come through. I don't think all freedom comes away from government because when we don't have government, we get like feudalism if we don't have any government. We have kings. We have to have government, or we have kings.
Of course, there needs to be some sort. I don't know, actually. I wouldn't say you could privatize everything and it could be fine. You could,
You can read all of history to know that's a very bad idea, my friend. They will treat us like economic units and let us all die.
What else is a very bad
That's what they
idea?
do.
A big government. You know what else is a very bad idea? Big government.
A big government that protects people would be good. A big government that protects private interests would be bad.
That's proven to not work, sir. That's proven to
We
be
literally had the
a
Great
bad
Depression
idea.
and Gilded Age be
Communism.
solved by big government. Big government came in to help the Gilded Age and Great Depression, and also our environmental collapses in places like Pittsburgh. That was big government coming in on behalf of the people to protect the people.
Yeah, just like big government coming in to protect the banks nowadays.
Are you going to engage with this at all?
Engage with what?
The fact that government is why our country was founded, is to have a constitutional republic that people vote for representatives that protects us from having kings and from authoritarianism. That's why our country is founded.
I'm all for that. I'm all for that.
And I'm saying today, Democrats are more aligned with that goal than Republicans are.
That's,
And you can look at their
see, that's
policies
crazy.
as a result.
I just don't see that.
Yeah, because you don't look at the policies. You're talking about emotional terms about who cares about what. I don't care about carings or feelings.
I look in the policies, but
Which
I
policies
think
show that? So you don't think?
But Democrats tend to overgovern. I don't enjoy their whole overgoverning. I think yes, they do have policies that can look like they protect these certain freedoms, blah blah blah. But the more that they put their hands on it, the more it's getting degraded.
You can look for a fact at areas where the government gets involved in positive ways that improve. So, for example, there's 9 new factories being built in West Virginia alone that are coming because of Joe Biden's policies, but they're not going to be built until next year or this year or next year. So Trump's probably going to try to take credit for that, but that's as a result. That's as a result of government incentives to incentivize companies to invest in these areas. There's good policy and bad policy, but Republicans right now have no policy. They just worship Donald Trump. Like, you can't name one thing Doge wants to actually do. You just believe with their branding. I'm just saying I just want you to keep your mind open as they go along his presidency. Keep your mind open. Look at what they actually do.
Buddy, my mind's always open. But here's the thing: I do.
Yeah, it's falling out, but I mean like openness and taking in new ideas.
No, I'm not JFK, but I do believe. Listen, here's the thing, man. I think I want it to work. I'm hoping for it to work, but I'd be the first one to say, hey. I'd be the first one to say, hey, I mean, because I agree with a lot of the things they say, just on a, not digging into it that much, just on a open looking, on a face value. I agree with a lot of the things that they have to say and that they want to do.
I respect and I appreciate that perspective.
Especially with RFK coming into the mix, make America healthy again. I like that.
I appreciate that, but one of the things I'm saying is, you're saying at face value you agree with it, which means they don't need to give you any substance and you're going to agree because they brand it well and they talk about it in very convincing terms. But I want you to not be manipulated. And all I ask is that as they go throughout this process, you look at their actual policies and don't just buy into the branding. If they do something bad, all I ask is when I talk to someone who disagrees, let's stand by the Constitution. If Trump actually, I know you want to say he's joking because we treat him like he's a 5-year-old with no accountability, but if he does any of these crazy things like using the military against U.S. citizens or putting people in jail for exercising their First Amendment right, all I ask is that you come and say, you know what, I was wrong. I want to defend the Constitution as well, and we can start from that. I just want to defend the Constitution as the main principle we can agree on and go from there. And I do appreciate you engaging in this conversation for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'll let you. I think we're circling here, but I'll let you carry on. But yeah, I just
want us to appreciate each other, appreciate American freedom. I just don't want us to hate each other as neighbors in America. You know what I mean? Even if we have different opinions.
Yeah, trust me, I still don't understand your point of view on things, but I respect it a little bit more, and it's always good to talk about it. So.
All right, I appreciate you calling in.
All right, buddy. Take care.
All right, thank you. Have a good rest of your day. Please drop a like on my channel, hit subscribe, maybe share my channel around. I think you can see that I have these talking points and also arguments pretty well rehearsed. I'm talking from a pretty genuine space. I'll take another caller as well. If you want to support this work, channel memberships are only $3 a month. We're at 33 out of 100. I did not update the graphic yet. We're at 33 channel members out of 100. We need 100 to help me grow the channel more and buy an actual call-in application, so I don't need to use Google Voice anymore. So if you can, $3 a month if you support this content. You get a cool name in chat, a green name. I can see your name easier and read your name. It's too early for these psychic assaults. No, these is good. These are good. That was a good conversation. That's a good conversation you can have with anyone outside. You walk outside, you have a conversation like that. I think it's actually really good. That was a good one. But yeah, $3 a month to support freedom of speech and good conversations. If you want to jump the line of callers, I have like 8 people. Wait, I have like 15 people trying to call in. 15 people want to call in. If you Venmo me like $5 or like $2 or whatever, okay, with your number, I will put you ahead of the call list. I pretty much do. If you Venmo me money with your phone number or your name, I will look for your phone number and I'll pick you first. Whoever donates the most money, I usually say $5, but if it's $2, whatever you have there, I will take your call first because there's like 15 or 20 people trying to call in right now. I got 99 missed calls in the past 15 minutes. Let me get a drink of water really quick before I bring someone else on. But thank you all for joining me. That's all you weak-minded people do is talk about Trump. I think it's good to engage in civic discussion. It's really important. It's a bedrock of everything we do as a people. I think good debate in a free marketplace of ideas is good. So I'm sorry you don't agree with that, Mr. Trumper. Really sad, actually, that you can't really defend your position, so you have to cry about it. If you want to cry about it, go somewhere else to cry. And any donations in general on Venmo are definitely appreciated. All right, I'll open up the call lines again. 1 second. All right, call lines are open. I'll do one more caller for now. I'll be back on tonight then. Unless we get a big boost in viewership. We have like 350 right now watching. But yeah, I'll get back on tonight around the usual time, around 9 p.m., 10 p.m. Eastern.
Call from.
Hello?
Hello?
Howdy, what's up?
How's it going?
Going pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So, what is it, I'm curious to why is it you think Trump would be basically ruin America whenever we've already had 4 years of Trump and that did not happen?
Because when Trump tried doing things such as shooting at protesters, and also when he tried to use the military to essentially go into states to solve civil unrest, he wanted to do the Insurrection Act, he wanted to do anti-First Amendment activity. When he wanted to do really bad policies in general, he had people there, the establishment, as people call them, to say, hey, Trump, we can't do that. We can't do this military activity here. We can't just bomb this country, etc. But now Trump has 0 of those people in the room. So now all the guide rails are gone. And even in the first term, he had the biggest turnover of any White House administration of all time. That turnover results of bad hiring. He had the most people ever working in the White House. He just seems very dysfunctional. In general, he ran on almost 0 policies as well.
But if you run a business, I mean, you have to agree whenever you hire someone to do a job, if they are not performing at that job to your standards because you are the boss, you let them go, you fire them. You know, that's
yeah. But if you're a hiring manager, okay, if you're a hiring manager and you have the highest turnover within 4 years, I'm saying if your job as owner is to hire people and you're hiring terrible people constantly that you need to keep on cycling out, either you're an authoritarian or you're terrible at your job of recruiting.
Well, I mean,
or you're a bad leader.
Also,
you have no leadership either. So those are the 3 possibilities.
You can say that as well, but then what would be your solution to it? Because obviously it hasn't been democratic policies that have been some great, that have been making people prosperous. I mean, if you look at, just even take violence, take crime, the most violent cities are ran by Democrats. The most gun-ridden, the most violent gun shootings, all that happened where Democrats have had the most lockdown on guns, the most restrictions, just look at what's going on in California right now with the homelessness, all that. They have dumped so much money to try to solve these issues.
The biggest issue with homelessness in California is private interest, by the way. It's not the government. The issue with homelessness in California is the private interest not allowing them to fix the issue, by the way. It's people that own land not wanting them to actually fix the problem.
It would actually be the government, the ones that are actually allow you to get permits to build. And see, I'm a builder, so I know.
No, there's zoning. Okay, well, zoning regulation then, right?
Absolutely.
California has one of the most privileged zoned populations in American history. That's why California housing is so expensive in general. Is because local governments have such strict zoning regulations when they try to build housing for the homeless, or they try to build different centers, or they try to build public housing, or even just like housing complexes in general. These single homeowners vote against them.
No. It's yes, zoning has to do it, but you also have the government regulates things on who can get permits, who's not. I mean, you even have Bill Maher. He had a running day counter on his show because he was trying to just put up solar, and it took them 3 years after he got the permits approved to even just get solar put up. I mean, it's a
Okay, so
disaster.
I understand. Okay, so I would say that there are some regulations that are too hefty, but it's not a result of just government. There's other influences as well. But also in California, they have droughts constantly. They have an issue with resources because of these droughts. It's hard to maintain. Okay, it's hard to maintain building new developments in a state like that. They need to take certain things into account when it comes to the environment, when it comes to pretty much protecting their state from different disasters and resource allocation. I think their drought right now is like 8 months long, I think, which is why the fire is so bad.
So whenever it snows and all these things up in Canada, it's not even about America. You have water that runs down mountains that actually has been diverted and dumped. And instead of putting it in reservoirs and putting it and allocating it to resources, which you are going to need in the future, that's why they're having such an issue with this big fire mismanagement right now, is because there's so much red tape up where they're more worried about, let me hire this lesbian LA chief for the fire, let me hire this, they got like 4 lesbians that all have the name Kristen Karen. They care about, it's DEI.
Okay, you are emotional. You are emotional right now. You need to stop talking about race and bringing race and gender into this discussion. I want to talk about policy, not your woke DEI conversation. Yes, you're talking about race and gender. Talk about the actual policies. Stop talking about race and gender in every conversation. Donald Trump supporters want to talk about race and gender in literally everything. Talk about the actual policies. So do you realize the infrastructure to do this? The infrastructure. I don't care because you sound because you're bringing in. I'm not talking about your wokeism. I don't want to talk about because I don't want to talk about wokeism right now and your woke politics. I want to talk about the actual policies. You are getting emotional because you're talking about race and gender in an economic conversation. So do you realize we need a small we would need a small industrial revolution to build the pipelines to build you brought DEI into it. You brought DEI into it. Stop talking about race and gender. Shut up. Okay, I'm gonna hang up if you don't talk about policy. You have 5 seconds to talk about policy or I get a new caller. You want to talk about policy or not? You want to talk about actual policy or not?
That is policy. Okay.
You want to cry about race and gender? I'll talk to someone else.
I'm not crying about race.
Yes, you are. You brought it up unprompted for no reason. There's zero reason to think that there's any issue right now with the fires and DEI, unless if you follow the dumbest resources of all time.
You cut me off and you didn't let me finish.
Do you realize the infrastructure to build for snow melt from Canada would be a mini industrial revolution? That's not a possible policy that California can feasibly do for these fires. And even if they did do that, this fire is so extreme that nothing would have stopped it at all. Nothing would have stopped these fires in California. Nothing would have stopped it. It's that extreme.
Yes, absolutely. Clearing out brush, doing controlled burns. I've actually been a place. Yes, you do controlled burns.
The fire started in a residential area.
Yes, because it spread uncontrollably because of all of the brush. So
no, it was not because of the brush. It's because the structure's there and also the foliage. Also, the trees are dry from drought.
It's not just that. There's no water pressure. So there's no.
Yeah, because all the water is being drained by people trying to get the water. They're using the water to try and take care of the fires, and they always have constant droughts. Like they've had a drought for a long time. They have to make people stop using water because they have issues with drought and water supply. It's not easy to fix. It's not a 1, 2, 3. So they already have issues with water. You're right. Sure, it's California. They have a huge drought problem.
It doesn't boil down to it's just drought problem. That's what usually leftists do is
California overconsumes water. I didn't say climate change. I said drought. Can you stop talking to leftism and talk to me and talk about policy? What causes drought? What causes drought?
Climate. So that's what I'm saying. That's
what okay. I'm happy you brought up climate change. Thank you for bringing up climate change for me. So anyways, I want to talk about drought. We should talk about drought.
Yes. On policies, there's many things that they have mismanaged on a insane scale that has led to issues and it has been democratic policies that have.
For what issues? For the fires?
With the fires, are you?
Which policies?
So whenever I try to bring up, so whenever you have people that manage things, it does matter. If I have a surgeon, I don't care what race, gender my surgeon is. I don't a pilot. I don't care.
What policies? I don't care about race and gender.
I'm trying to tell you. They have enacted policies where they hire based off of race and
They don't
gender.
hire based off of race or gender. They only hire qualified individuals, okay?
No, it's quotas. No.
They only hire qualified individuals regardless.
You can look this
there
up
are an
right
abundance
now.
of qualified individuals. The head of the police, the head of the fire department there. Okay, the woman that's LGBT, she's been an officer or a fire officer for literally like 25 years. She's definitely qualified to be in their position.
Is she the best qualified person? Okay,
Do you realize your brain is so broken that you need to talk about gender and race with literally everything? Talk about one policy. Can you go to one policy? You are bringing up race and gender. No. Talk about actual policies. What policies did California do that would have helped? No, you're talking about race and gender. You are so woke. You only care about woke topics. It's so upsetting.
Maybe Karen Bass not cutting $17 million.
Oh, by the way, buddy, you don't understand anything because you saw the fake news sources. You realize that the fire department over the past year got a $50 million increase?
Okay, so why
the $17 million cut was after negotiations, but they still got a $50 million increase in this calendar year, but your news sources lied to you.
And
look it up.
What are they spending that money towards?
Oh, so now you have to divert to a different topic because you're wrong about the $17 million because you don't know there was an increase because you follow the worst news sources on the planet.
Okay, cool. So it's increase and increase. That's like okay. So that's the same argument as saying like the New York Kathy Hochul was saying, oh, I'm saving you over $2,000 a year with paying $10 to come into New York City every day. Whenever people paid $0.
Do you only have national headlines in your brain? You only have national headlines on Twitter, don't you? Because now you're talking about congestion pricing in New York City because you don't know about the actual policy in California. You want to talk about race and gender again?
Yes,
you want to talk about LGBT issues?
No,
Hold
on. So I brought up policy, and you get upset every time I do it because
you're obsessed with race and gender.
No.
You have not named one policy concerning water in California. You have not named one policy concerning water in California other than snow melt, and I told you that was
for farmers and stuff because I don't know the exact policies, but yes, they do.
Yeah, I know you don't, but you do know the LGBT policies. You know the LGBT policies of California, but you don't know the actual policies. That's so amazing. That's so convenient, right? You're obsessed with race and gender. You don't know any actual policies. Amazing.
You're throwing around baseless accusations.
That's all you know about. Why do you know? Why do you know so much? Why do you know so? Why is the only actual thing you know about race and gender? Why don't you know one actual policy about the actual issue?
I'm telling you a fact, and you're getting upset about it because the policy is whenever you make up departments that are specifically geared towards hiring a certain type
Hey, buddy, you don't know anything. You don't know anything about what's happening. You just don't like. The groups they're hiring. You don't know anything about the actual policies that they do.
No, I don't care about the groups they're hiring. I want the most qualified person for the job.
Tell me what job they did. No, tell me why they're not qualified. Tell me why they're not qualified. Why are they not qualified? Explain that.
Are you kidding me? Because based on the applicants they're going up against, there's definitely.
Oh, who was so the 25-year fire chief? Okay, who was she going up against?
Yes, and I guarantee there's way more qualified people.
Oh, you guarantee more than 25 years of service? More than 25 years of service? More than 25 years.
1,000,000% sure. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so who else?
Sure.
What qualifications? If you had to imagine the perfect fire chief, you can make up a superhero. Make up a superhero right now. What is a better fire chief? Who's a better option? Who's a better option? Who's a better option? No. Make me an example resume more than 25 years in leadership for the fire department.
More than 25? I don't know. Let's say there's
more than 25. Wow.
The fire department for more than 45
now name one
years.
policy about water.
Now it's a year thing. Hold on. Now
what are you talking about?
So
name one policy about water.
No, so you're saying she's qualified because she's.
Oh, you have to still cry about the woman. You have to still cry about the DEI. You have to cry about the race and gender.
The years give her.
Little baby can't talk about policy.
Okay.
Oh, that's so sad.
See, that's what people on the left do. They get upset and they start.
I get mad because you're we're the name callers. Yeah, we're the name callers. Because you come in talking about DEI, you can't name one actual policy.
You get upset.
And now you're getting offended. Now you're getting offended. Now you want to cry. Wah wah wah.
I'm not a wah wah. Okay.
Maybe you should do some research, buddy. Do some research. Know some facts first. How old am I? Name some facts, brother. Name one fact.
That Trump's already been president for 4 years. He didn't crash the economy, crash the country.
It's so sad.
That's what you said. You said call in because Trump is going to, and like I said,
Trump's been president for 4 years. What is one policy Trump did in his first term in office? One policy he did.
What do you mean? What's one policy he did? Okay, what international? You want foreign, domestic?
I don't know. Name one policy Trump did. I don't know. For the American worker.
I don't know. Abraham Accord.
For the American worker. For the American worker.
Let's
Don't
see.
say immigration.
Cut taxes. You know, we have the immigration things that he's done.
Okay, so immigration okay.
You said name one. I'm naming them, and it's not like he just was in office for 4 years and did nothing. And
name one bill he passed through Congress. Name one bill he passed through Congress.
Okay, so the first time he was through, you know what it was like for him and all the battles that he had to do.
Oh, poor buddy can't handle being a leader. That's so
well,
sad.
it's not poor buddy.
Joe Biden's
I mean,
first
I'm
term
no friend.
Joe Biden's first term as president, he got 5 major pieces of legislation done.
What's crazy to me is you have all these Trump people that are super far right, nuts, you know, and they're thinking their ways, and then you have your side, super far left, that are even fucking
Who cares about
crazier.
facts? Who cares about facts and logic? I'm
That's
sorry
why
I care
you
about
push
facts.
People like
Oh no.
Elon Musk,
Because you need to talk about race and gender.
RFK.
You just have race and gender. I'm sorry. You just have race and gender.
No,
on your
actually,
side.
I brought up a policy, and your brain went haywire and went towards race and gender. I brought up a policy.
You only
DEI
brought
is
up what is the policy?
It's
Oh,
implemented in companies. It's a
DEI is race
policy
and gender. Is that not not race and gender?
That they used to hire off.
I talked about the California wildfires. You said, okay, name one regulation California did to hurt.
You said,
to
hold
hurt
on.
their
The
ability to
reason why I
fight
called
fires.
was you said Trump is going to ruin America.
Yeah, because people
know,
like you are confident now because you think you understand things that you don't off of headlines. You should do more research. You should have some personal responsibility to know what you're talking about for your own self-respect as well, because you look stupid.
As far as what?
You literally brought up DEI 50,000 times as the only policy. You could not name one policy about California that would be bad that they got as a result of DEI. Okay, but you brought up DEI as the bad policy.
Yes, the people that are now managing the problem. That was a result of DEI.
You realize you're having imagination right now.
What do you
You're
mean
imagining things. You're imagining scenarios.
They specifically hired these people to these positions because of their race. They're not race. It was their gender identity. It was what was between their legs. It wasn't based off of qualifications. Yes, she had 25 years of service, but guess what? Does that make her qualified? No. I'm sorry. I could be working 25 years in a job and be shit at it. I mean,
You don't have one reason to say that she's not qualified, though. You have no reason to say that she's not qualified,
Okay.
right? Do you have one way that she's not qualified? Or is it just because she's a
No,
woman?
that's not what I said. And it's not that she's not. It's that there
So
are
you're getting
more
mad about a
people
made-up
out there
story?
that are
You're getting mad about a story you made up in your own head?
There are more qualified people than her to
You
fit
don't.
the position.
Okay, there's more qualified people
does
for
not-
president. Okay, there's more qualified people for literally everything. Okay, you can find a more qualified person for any job hypothetically, but you only say this because of DEI, right?
Okay, I don't know why you're stuck on the California fire thing.
Because
Yeah, I
you
shouldn't even
talked
have
so
brought it up.
confident about something you have
said
no
Trump was
idea
gonna
about.
No, hold on. Because you said Trump was going to ruin America. Is what you said, that Trump was going to ruin America. You know, basically that's what your guys' argument is on that side. He's going to ruin America. He's going to burn the world to the ground. He's going to do all these fucking horrible things.
No, he just has
But
bad
during
policies,
his-
brother.
Bad policies. Okay, during his first 4 years, we had some of the lowest unemployment for African Americans, Hispanics, Asians, Natives. You know,
Am I
basically
talking
every
to
group
Donald
of
Trump
people.
right now?
No.
Am I talking to
no,
Donald Trump?
I'm stating a fact. You had jobless claims that were at an all-time low for like fucking half a century low. You had, you know, like I said, the unemployment rate was low. The middle class, and that's what I care about, middle class income had actually risen. More Americans had more money in their pockets. Yes, to me that matters. You know, he brought new jobs to the United States, and what you guys say is, oh, you want these shitty manufacturing jobs back here?
No, I don't say that.
That's what a lot of people.
Okay, so why did Obama? Why did
Obama's China to do it cheaper?
You realize the economy was just as strong when Obama left office. Like, Trump did not give one policy that actually changed the course of our economy. We just followed suit after Obama's
we
policies.
just hit stock market record highs. Okay, so
Yeah,
then
yeah,
while
we did.
Joe Biden's
We had more
been
growth
in,
under
hold on,
Obama.
Hold on. So while Biden's been in office and the stock markets have been going up, is that because of Trump then? Because he was the president before. So is that because of Trump the reason why stock markets continue to rise?
No, because before Trump took office, Obama's economy was growing faster than it was once Trump took office. But now Biden took office at the bottom of our recession.
Was growing after we went through a horrible recession.
Yeah, in 2016, 8 years later.
After it crashed and burned to the fucking ground.
The growth rate decreased the moment Trump took office after he passed the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. What I'm saying is, Trump took over after that scenario, so you're right. It's post-recession. We have easy growth because we already had Obama fix the problem. What did Biden take over after?
During a pandemic.
Yeah, during hyperinflation.
They try to credit him with the most jobs ever created after they told people to go home. You can't go to work.
Okay, I'm not. Are you talking to me or the mainstream media? Talk to me.
No, I'm
okay?
talking to you.
Yes,
'Cause
so
you're
Joe
trying to-
Biden, our economy when it comes to real wage growth, ranked #1 in the world for our entire economic output and also wage growth. #1 in the world with gas prices, #1 in the world with reducing inflation. The American economy was #1 with Biden in charge coming back from COVID-19.
No, Biden took over. No. Whenever Biden took over, we weren't just done with COVID-19. Now, people think that we were done because the CNN death counter, the COVID-19 death counter dropped off at CNN. But
It was still there.
No, it was there and this is what I said.
No, I'm saying economically, under Joe Biden, we were #1 in the world.
I said more people died under Biden from COVID-19 than Trump.
He was
and this is
president
after
for
they
more
had
of
a
the
vaccine.
pandemic. He was president for
and
more
there
of the
was a
pandemic. Trump was president for 8 months of it.
Hold on, there was a vaccine, and there was a vaccine. So there was, and it's not like some astronomical.
Can you name one
big
policy
number
anyone
more.
actually did to do these things though? Like, do you say
What?
that we were
Okay,
not the
Trump
#1
did,
economy after
Trump,
COVID?
Trump created opportunity zones that
Oh my
invested
God,
in the
dude.
fucking. What?
Can you
What?
would you agree? Would you not agree that America has the #1 economy? Did Biden not have the #1 economy after COVID? Did Biden not have the #1 economy after COVID globally in America?
What do you mean the number? Yes, inflation was so high, it was so great. Thank you.
No. We improved better than any country globally
he took
from
over,
COVID. We improved.
He had a very low inflation. Okay, so everybody was home during COVID, and everybody was home. They were all going to the grocery stores, eating and consuming a lot of food. So, and we were all sitting at home with our electricity on and all that. So technically, it should have been, a lot higher. It wasn't higher until Biden got into office, and
It already was
started
peaking
rolling.
before Trump left office. So did immigration. They both peaked before Trump left office.
1.4. Okay, if you want to get into immigration,
We could look at between
was
October
lower.
and January, it started spiking after the COVID measures were releasing from the
No,
supply chains globally.
immigration started spiking once Biden.
No,
rolled back
immigration
on
spiked. Immigration spiked once, and throughout
Okay,
2020,
and what are
it
you
crashed
gonna
in
say-
March.
What are you going to
It
say
crashed in
whenever
March.
it drops?
It started spiking.
what's
It
gonna
is
be
dropping
excused
now.
whenever it
It is
drops?
dropping now. We're at pre-pandemic levels of border crossing, but you don't watch media sources that'll tell you that. You can look it up. From our border patrol agents, we have less border crossings now than we did pre-pandemic. Of course, there was an issue. Biden had to take care of hyperinflation and
because
also
now they
immigration.
identify them as asylum
You're just
seekers,
making
and
stuff
that's
up. No, it's border
No.
crossings in general. It's border crossings in general.
Okay, there's still a fuck ton of border crossings. If you want
Yeah,
to
there's
say
a lot,
probably
but
less now
Biden
because
Biden
people-
took over with
there's a-
hyperinflation and a lot of border crossings and successfully dealt with
He
both
did
of
not
those
take
issues
over
and
with
got blamed for them.
hyperinflation. He took
Yes, he
over with
did.
it was
Economy-
like 1.4%. Look
The
it
economy
up.
was
You
already
can
spiking
Google
before
it
Trump
right
left
now.
office. Yes, I can look up a graph of inflation. And that'd
And
be as
he
a result of
helped-
COVID. Every
his
country did.
pol-
Every
okay.
country
His-
faced inflation. Every country.
his
America recovered
policies
first.
helped-
America recovered. Do you understand that concept? Every
And
country
so
faced
we're
this.
the best of the worst. So that's what
We
you want
were.
to be, the best
We're
of
the
worst.
best of the entire
Hey,
globe.
We're, all
We're the best of the
alcoholics, but I'm
world.
the best
We're
alcoholic
the best.
here.
Okay.
Like,
Are you
what is
okay,
it?
buddy?
Yes, the
buddy,
best of
buddy,
the-
buddy,
what-
buddy.
Go ahead.
Seriously. Okay, we were #1 coming back from COVID. Okay, we were dealing with a big crisis, but we were #1 coming back
How
from
much
it.
money did we have to throw at it to be the best of the worst? How many trillions of dollars
The
did Biden
policy
have to
still
throw at it?
worked. The economic policy still worked.
No. Oh, yeah, that brought.
That's why we were
crippling
#1.
Inflation.
No,
The only good
inflation.
thing that
No,
Biden-
actually,
no,
no.
you
Funny.
wanna
You know what's funny about that?
The only
No,
good thing
you
that
lied.
Biden
No,
did
that's not
was
true. That's
the
not true. What you just said is not true. What you just said is not true. That's not true. That's not true. America spent
Yes,
more money
that's
than other countries and had inflation reduced quicker because supply side and demand side matters with inflation.
You
Supply
do
chains matter
realize
with
that we
inflation.
have to
So
pay
you
for
can
this,
spend
right? It's
you can
not-
spend
just
more
can't
money
keep printing
and
money
reduce
without
inflation.
any consequences. That
No.
is that is the left
You don't understand
solution to
inflation. You
everything.
don't
Print
understand how
more
inflation
money.
works. No, that's not how inflation works. Printing more money can help decrease inflation if you're increasing supply. If you're having issues with people having too much money in a hyperinflated economy, you can resolve that issue by taxing people more and increasing supply.
No, the way you get
Because if there's
inflation
more goods
down
and less
is by
demand,
hiring interest rates to get people to stop spending.
economic
people to
policies
stop-
can do that as well.
Jeez.
America, like I said, when you compare us to every other country in the world, those countries faced inflation as well. Even Russia and China and other countries,
Yeah, I
even
wonder
countries
why
that did
every
austerity.
country, because you have the #1 world superpower, actually 1 and 2. So you have America and China that basically came to a screeching halt. So yes, no shit, the rest of the world was affected. I mean, obviously the rest of the world would be affected whenever you have number 1 and number 2 superpowers completely shut down. Yes, that's going to fucking wreck the world. It's common sense. It is just pure common sense. So yes, because we bounce back faster. Yes, because we're the number 1 superpower in the world. It doesn't mean that we've done anything great.
Why would you never say that for Trump then? You said he did an amazing economy.
No, Trump, no, I did not say he did amazing. See, this is what people on the left do. If you even say one positive thing about Trump, they're like, oh my God, you love Trump.
This is what people on the left do. All right, I'll be back on tonight. This is what people on the left do, dude. Like, you can't talk to me. You can't talk straight to me. You can't talk about the actual policy. Just talk about DEI. Literally, bro. I don't know about any of the actual policy. I just know they hired gay people there. It's like, I just know they were unqualified, dude. They were unqualified. They had to be. I mean, they were a woman. Like, all women are unqualified. Like, 25 years with the department? That's nothing, dude. They could have found a guy with 30. Jared Kushner got hired for the White House because he was the best choice, by the way. Jared Kushner was the best choice. Okay. Thank you for watching. I'll be back on tonight at 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. Eastern time. Day callers are kind of fun. Experience doesn't mean you're best for the job. Yeah, buddy, you can look at outcomes of what their actual policies were. But when you have a hurricane hit, you're not going to blame whoever's in charge for the hurricane. A hurricane happened. But Republicans want to blame everything on race and gender. He could not name one policy at all that would have helped resolve the current situation, but he named race and gender. Donald Trump won another poll, bro. This is the 5th stream in a row, okay? It's a stream number 5 when Donald Trump won more athletic over LeBron James. All right, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Like I said, if you want to support the channel, the best way to donate is through Venmo. If you have a couple dollars here and there, it really supports me doing these conversations. Donating to Joel Up Politics. If you want to schedule a call ahead of time, I will have a form out eventually, but if you want to send me a Venmo donation with your phone number, I will remember that phone number. And I'll make sure I schedule you for a phone call if you want to pay to talk in front of 500 people and get yourself ahead of the line. Because there's, like I said, I have like 20 people calling at once, 30 people, 100. Last night I had like 100 people calling at once. So with that many people calling at once, if you really want to call in, then you got to buy your way ahead of the line with a donation of some sort. Or just take your luck. Try to call in when I'm accepting calls and see if I pick you. Your lucky number. But yeah, thank you. Channel memberships are $3 a month. This host is benefiting from this tragedy. People lost their lives, home, and family. Can you stop virtue signaling? I've talked more about first responders than Donald Trump has his entire freaking life, and he's like 95 years old. I know first responders. I put messaging up about first responders already. Your daddy Trump said, Gavin Newsom and Biden were the problem here. It's like, no, buddy, it's a natural disaster. Stop being a little dumbass. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good one. See you guys later. Join the Discord as well. Dumbass. See, he only knows insults. Imagine supporting Trump and being like, he only knows insults. Do you realize your brain is being emotional right now? I can list off a bunch of logical facts, okay? I can talk about American workers, and I'll be like, you silly pants, and you're gonna be like, I know you just talked about how Donald Trump is corrupting our entire government with billionaires, and he wants to like sell away all of our he wants to send our troops to like invade our allies to go die for Elon Musk to get precious earth minerals. And I know you just talked about how Donald Trump is the most corrupt cabinet in American history, and you proved it with like actual points of who he appointed and where he appointed them and how the collusion works, and you know his deals with Saudi Arabia, Russia, and China, and Elon Musk's involvement there too, and all this other corruption. I know you said all this stuff about policy. I know you said all this stuff, but why did you call me a silly pants? You insult people. That's why the left loses. I'm not falling for it. I'm gonna keep talking about the American worker. I'm gonna keep talking about facts. You're gonna keep crying about it. But I hope you Join us sometime. I am done. I'm just talking to the chat.